Have you ever been too obedient and it completely backfired on your boss? My first job taught me more about revenge than any movie ever could. I was 17, broke, and desperate to make some money. So when a local coffee and sandwich shop hired me after a 10-minute interview, I thought I got lucky. Turns out, they liked hiring teenagers because we didn't know our rights yet. But I did. My mom worked in workplace safety, helping companies avoid lawsuits over injuries and labor violations. I grew up hearing stories about shady managers and ignored safety rules. So, before I even started my first shift, I'd already read the labor law handbook for my region. I knew what was legal and what wasn't. The shop was chaos from day one. Breaks were optional, meaning you could be pulled out halfway through yours and never make up the time. When I asked for my full 30-minute break on a 7-hour shift, my manager looked at me like I'd just committed a crime. 15 minutes is enough, she snapped. But I knew better. It only got worse from there. The ladder we were supposed to use was broken, so people climbed on boxes to reach shelves. The toaster oven sometimes caught fire because no one showed new hires how to use it. Cleaning chemicals were thrown into unmarked bottles, and protective gear was basically a joke. Burns, cuts, and sprains happened every week. Then one day, I spilled hot coffee down my arm. It blistered immediately. I went to run it under cold water and asked for the injury report forms. My manager barked, "We don't do forms for burns." If we filled one out every time someone got burned, we'd never stop. That's when something in me switched. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to quit on the spot. I was going to follow every single rule they ignored, exactly by the book. I didn't realize it then, but what I was planning had a name: work to rule. So I started small. The cappuccino and iced drink machines were supposed to be deep cleaned regularly. No one ever did it because it took too long. I began cleaning them every shift, draining, soaking, scrubbing, leaving customers waiting for their drinks, while my manager scrambled to calm them down. Then I moved on to the tea. Policy said it had to be replaced every 30 minutes. It usually sat for hours. I followed the rule perfectly, tossing out pot after pot. Suddenly, we were burning through stock and running out every day. I checked expiration dates on every packaged item. If it was expired, even by one day, it was gone. The display case started looking empty. Stock orders had to change again. They eventually stuck me at the sandwich and soup station to keep me out of the way. Fine by me. I changed gloves after every single order. I sanitized every container before refilling it. I cooled soups in ice baths before putting them in the fridge, just like the manual said. Everything took twice as long. But hey, rules are rules. Management hated me. I could hear them complaining behind closed doors, but I never broke a single policy. I was polite, punctual, and technically their most compliant worker. I'd turned 18 by then, which meant I could legally work late and supervise younger staff. They couldn't even fire me easily. Then one day, the owner herself pulled me aside. She said, "I don't like kids who think they know how to run my business." Her tone made it clear I wasn't welcome. I smiled and said, "I understand completely. I'll bring my resignation letter tomorrow." And I did. The first few lines were just a formal resignation. The rest was a detailed list of labor and safety violations, dates, examples, and all. I ended it by saying I trusted she'd address these issues promptly. The way it was worded made it clear that if she didn't, others might. I gave 2 weeks notice to make things easier on my coworkers, but they only scheduled me for 5 days. Clearly, they wanted me gone. I walked out after my last shift, feeling like I'd just closed a very satisfying chapter. Months later, I went back out of curiosity. The place looked completely different, brighter, cleaner, and full of new faces. The staff looked happy. I asked around and found out it had changed ownership. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe my letter pushed someone to investigate. I'll never know, but I like to think I had something to do with it. For months, I'd been the quiet storm that followed every rule so perfectly, it broke the system that ignored them.